Okay, I was in a chat room a couple nights ago, I think it was, and there was somebody asking about, the end time eschatology, whatever that word is. I can't even say it. But it's, how are things going to unfold? What is the end? I mean, it's a natural question. It's one that I had from very early on, even, way back when I didn't know anything at all. So it's one that the disciples ask, right? In Matthew 24, what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Let's do it this way. And excuse me, and this is important because this phrase gets overlooked, in my opinion, in my experience, what I'm seeing. What is the sign of thy coming? You got to put these two together, okay? So let's not leave nothing out. What shall be the sign of thy coming? That means when Jesus comes in the cloud. That means when he returns. What shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Okay, so put those two together. When Jesus comes in the clouds of heaven, this is the end of the world. It very important, in my opinion, to understand the entire Bible and the end times. You have to realize, you have to just be able to see that when Jesus comes in the clouds of heaven, that this is the end of the world. And I'm going to go back over it, but let me share something with you first. Let's go to let's go here. Let's do it this way. I'm not sure what I got here. Oh, okay. Let's go. So in Matthew 24, all right, and then in Mark 13, and somebody was asking about this, and then they asked me, what is some of the places to find this stuff in the Bible? And so my response is learn Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21 first. Okay, if you understand these three chapters, then the whole Bible makes sense. All right, so from everywhere from the Old Testament to Revelation, all the way up. Okay, from front to back, everything makes sense if you understand this. And there's not a better place to get a description or an outline of what is going to happen than from the very words of Jesus Christ in the Gospels themselves, right? Excuse me, this is the best place. And Jesus doesn't mix words. He doesn't beat around the bush. He doesn't confuse. He doesn't dilly-dally. He gets straight to the point, okay? And he makes it very clear, very easy, very simple to understand. And of course, I could read it all, I guess. If you read Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21, they are basically saying the same thing, but there is a little difference in the wording, which sometimes can help to give an understanding of what's being preached here, right? And so, to me, what's interesting is the very first thing Jesus says when the disciples ask him, "What shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?" The very first thing that Jesus says is, "Take heed that no man deceive you." Right? So to me, this is obvious that Jesus is saying, "Look, deception is going to get worse and worse and worse all the way up to the end." And so the very first thing he warns us about is deceivers. Right? Because Jesus is the truth. He wants you to know the truth, and he wants to give you some clues of some things to look for. For many shall come in my name, saying that Jesus is the Christ, There are going to be a lot of people that say that they're Christian. They're going to pretend to be scholars. They're going to pretend to be experts. And they're going to deceive many people. That's 10, 20, 30, 40. No, many people. Millions of people. All right, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Okay, so that's happening. That's been happening. And pestilences, earthquakes, famines, diverse place. And you'll see this in Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21. Basically the same stuff, right? And what I love about Luke 21 is the verse 19. In your patience possess ye your souls. Very strong verse right there. And then, of course, the Jerusalem being compassed with armies. Desolation, therefore, is nigh. And then you read in like Matthew, it says, when you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, it's the same thing. They're talking about the same thing, giving you clues to understand what's happening in the world today. Now, I'm not going to get into that right now. So, but woe unto you that are with child, right? So, this is just sort of a, I don't want to say warning, but something to think about. And here is the key verse right here. I wish I didn't have that thing there. Let me see if I can do that. Okay, so verse 25 in Luke 21. Then go to Mark 13 and go to, right, let's see, there it is. That's good enough right there. Oh, I know. I figured it out. There we go. And then, there we go. Okay, so you'll notice here, the sun darkened, the moon shall not give her light, the stars shall fall from heaven. All right, same point in time in all three verses. All right, so when these things happen, this goes back to what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world. So Jesus is giving us, this is the final sign. So when this happens, it's over. It's the end of the world. All right, so when the sun, moon, stars are fallen, shaken, don't give their light, what have you, these are all different expressions that we'll read throughout the Bible. And this is in Old Testament, this is in Revelation, it's all throughout the Bible. All right, this is a clue, a key sign, if you will. When you see these things happen, lift up your head for your, your redemption draws near. Right? So when this happens, it's the end of the world. You notice here that that's the end, right there. In Luke 21 and in Mark 13, it's the angels gathered together, the elect. That's us that are believers in Jesus Christ. All right, same thing with Matthew. All right, we're lifted up. Now, let's go. Let's do it this way. What was that? 1 Thessalonians, 4. I got to think about this now. All right, let's just guess. Let's take a guess. Why not? Let me see if I got that. Yeah, this is it. Okay. Now, let's see here. Is this yeah, I think this is it here, isn't it? What does it say here? For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. And if you don't mind here, just pay attention. All right, so this is going to make sense. After a while, you keep studying this stuff, and I'm not sure if this is the right place. Let's find out. Oh, no. This is not the right place. All right, so, I mean, this is all over the Bible. Once you see it in Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21, you'll start to see it. That's why I thought I did. Okay. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. This here in Daniel 12 is the end of the world. All right, this is when Jesus comes in the clouds of heaven. This is when the sun is darkened and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of heaven shall fall. This is the same moment in time, if you will. Okay. Now, and then go back to First Thessalonians. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. This is what Daniel is talking about. Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Right? All right, so if you want to look at examine, this is all throughout the Bible. Let's go. Let's do this one. Okay. Let's see. Revelation 3, verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. All right, so Jesus is going to make all of our enemies, essentially, all the unsaved, are going to be at our feet. We are going to be lifted up in the air to be with the Lord when Jesus comes in the clouds of heaven. Right? Does it make sense? Okay, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds. So when Jesus comes in the clouds of heaven, we are going to be lifted up with him, and the unsaved will be at our feet. All right? And I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. God is going to make them, the unsaved, know that he loves me and you that are saved. All right? Just before he destroys them, throws them in the lake of fire, and all that sort of stuff, okay? Now, why am I sharing that with you? Let's go. Let's see if I can find a verse here. Let's see here. For some reason, there we go. That's it. That's it right there. And the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. So think about that. Your enemies, thy footstool. They're going to be at your feet, right? So go back to like 1 Thessalonians 4. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds. We're going to be up in the clouds, and our enemies are going to be down at our feet. And that's repeated again, of course. In case you missed it the first time, it's in there a few times, right? Okay. So I've got to close this out, but this is gonna maybe seal it for you if you haven't already seen it. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, talking about the serpent, and thou shalt bruise his heel. This is a prophecy about this moment in time, when we are lifted up in the air to be with the Lord, and our enemies are down below, and they're gathered together, just like what we read in Revelation 20. All right, the devil, Satan, gathers all of our enemies, the unsaved. They will be at our feet, and God is going to make them to know that He loves us, and they're going to get all destroyed. All right, the Bible's very clear about this all throughout the Bible. Okay, all throughout, very clear. And Jesus is going to bruise the head of the serpent, and the serpent is going to bruise his heel. Right? And then, of course, our enemy is going to be thrown into the lake of fire. Right? And death and hell are cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. So when Jesus does all this, He's going to make all things new. There will be no more death, no more sorrow, no more crying, no more pain. All these will be former things. So after this change, after Jesus makes everything new, it's going to be a whole new world. There will be no unsaved people. There will be no sinners. There will be no sin at all.